The Indianapolis Colts travel to Tennessee to face the Titans on Sunday. The Colts a 7.5-point favorite on BETDAQ, 46.5 the total in this game. Now look, the Colts have been much, much better than the Titans this season. Tennessee might be the worst team in the entire NFL, 2-13 on the year, 3-11-1 against the spread. I mean, they have just been a toxic team to back. They rank 29th in both total offense and total defense. They've lost 9 straight games, including a loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. There is just nothing to like about this Titans team. And the last time these teams met back in September, Colts rolled to a 41-17 win, 498 total yards of offense for Indianapolis in that game, just 261 for the Tennessee Titans. And look, I don't put too much stock normally into trends, betting trends heading into games like this. We list them in all of our game previews, mainly for informational purposes. I like knowing as much as I possibly can about both sides, really, before I bet on a game. So if one team is, for example, 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games, I like to know that, even though I would never base my opinion on that, because usually you can find trends and stats and things like that to back up both sides of an argument. But in this case, they really only point one way. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts 18-3 against the spread, 18-3 against the spread in their last 21 games against teams with losing records. We've talked about it a lot over the last few weeks when it comes to this Indianapolis team. This year they really haven't been very good at all against good teams. Just 3-8 against teams that currently have winning records. 3-5 in their 8 games against teams that currently have winning records. But they have been very good against bad teams, and this stat just backs that up. Again, 18-3 against the number in Indy's last 21 games against teams with losing records. They're also 16-4-1 against the spread in their last 21 games against AFC South opponents. They're 17-4 against the number in their last 21 following a loss, and they are 6-0 against the spread in the last 6 meetings between these two teams. So like I said, everything pointing in the Indianapolis direction here. The Colts 3rd in total offense, 5th in points scored. They'll be facing a Tennessee defense that surrenders 27.4 points per game. There are only 2 reasons, and only 2 reasons, not to bet on Indianapolis here. Number 1, they were beaten 42-7 by the Dallas Cowboys last week. And number 2, this game, totally meaningless. Totally meaningless for the Indianapolis Colts. They are locked into the number 4 seed in the AFC, so they could and maybe should rest the starters here. Now, Chuck Pagano, their head coach, has said that he will not rest the starters, said he does not believe in that. But is that going to hold true all game? I mean, if the Colts have a 14-point fourth quarter lead, you're telling me Andrew Luck is still going to be out there? I have a hard time believing that. So that is definite reason to at least give you a little bit of pause here. But you know what? We talked about the 2 reasons, the 42-7 loss last week and the fact that this game is meaningless. I think one thing sort of helps the other. I think the fact that Indianapolis lost so badly last week, I think that makes it more likely they're going to put forth their best effort here in this game. They certainly don't want to head into the playoffs having lost 2 straight games, and I'm sure they have a bad taste in their mouth after that collapse in Dallas last week. So you would think they'd want to put forth a good performance here against a division rival. And listen, they're just so much better than the Tennessee Titans, as they showed back in September with that 41-17 win. I do like the Colts in this situation. Now, Week 17 is always a little bit crazy because sometimes games are meaningless like this, and sometimes it would work to a team's advantage to rest players, like it would seem to work to the Colts' advantage. I mean, if Andrew Luck gets hurt in this game, Chuck Pagano is going to take a lot of criticism, but I'm sure he knows that, and again, he said that he plans to play the starters, and so I plan on betting on the Colts, or at least I lean strongly in that direction. Indianapolis minus 7.5, my recommendation here.